how Game of Thrones should have ended. But before that, let's see how Game of Thrones should have ended. As we can see here, Cersei and Jaime Lannister were dead in the Red Keep. Aegon Targaryen, or Jon Snow, killed Daenerys Targaryen, and after seeing Daenerys Targaryen dead, Drogon destroyed the Iron Throne. As Iron Throne is the reason behind the Daenerys Targaryen's death, Drogon destroyed the Iron Throne, and as throne is the root cause of all evil inside the people, and the fighting which all has happened because of this throne's legacy and the power to grab the throne, and Drogon went away with Daenerys' body. Now after that, Sansa Stark became the Queen of the North, as she demanded that North should be an independent kingdom. So she will be termed as the Queen of the North, and people of Winterfell are very happy as Sansa has become the Queen of the North, as North has become the independent kingdom from the Seven Kingdoms. Jon Snow has been sent to exile with the wildlings, and after so much which he endured and sacrificed for, he is at his peace now. And as we can see in the clip that Arya Stark went to find what is west of Westeros in the final scene, and she has went on to her journey and voyage. And there was a new small council consists of 5 members: Tyrion Lannister as the Hand of King, as a punishment, Samwell Tarly as the Grand Maester, Bronn of Blackwater as Master of Coin, Sir Davos as Master of Shifts, and Brienne of Tarth as the Commander of Kingsguard. But this is a small council. Now Grey Worm went to the city of North as he promised Missandei, and Gilly was pregnant with Samwell Tarly's child, and Bran has become the king of the 6 kingdoms. And after all this, Drogon flew for days, and while he was flying over a certain place, a red priest, like there was a red priestess Melisandre, he was a red priest who saw a dragon flying over him, and he started running in the direction of the dragon, and he saw that the dragon came to a landing at a place, and Drogon kept the Daenerys body, and he is mourning over Daenerys' death. But the red priest went on, and Drogon growls after seeing him. But the red priestess, whose name was Joshua, he said that he was there to help, and Drogon allowed him, and he went there, took up the Daenerys body in his arm, and like Red Priestess Melisandre revived Jon Snow, he performed some rituals, and after performing the rituals, Daenerys' body came to her life. Daenerys came to her life, and she became alive. And the moment he came to her life and became alive, she came to know about all what Jon Snow has did to her, and she has again become that vengeful and revengeful person again, and she take an oath to kill the Jon Snow that very moment. and she thanked this red priest, and she took him under her account, and then she went on to create an army, and she went to places to begin her and commemorating her army so that she can defeat Jon Snow and kill him. And she knew that it will take her several years to build that army which she once has, but she has to start from scratch, and she had started from scratch, meet many people across and after 1 year of the reign of the Brandon Stark as a king of 6 kingdoms, the three-eyed raven, Brandon Stark, is the Night King. He is controlling that Night King, which everybody knows, but Bran with his psychic powers is the real Night King. He always wanted to become the king of the 7 kingdoms, and now his wish has come true. And now he started oppressing people, and he want to include the Winterfell into the 6 kingdoms so that he can become the king of the 7 kingdoms. When everybody came to know about this, everybody is shocked, and hearing that the new small council has rebelled against him. Winterfell has rebelled against him. Sansa Stark has rebelled against him. She went to talk with Brandon Stark, but Bran refuses to talk to her and told her to surrender the Winterfell to him. But Sansa refused, and then Winterfell started to prepare for the war, and within the span of 2 years, the Winterfell attacked King's Landing. Sansa's army in front of the army of the 6 kingdoms. So there was a battle which has taken place as the name of Battle of Winterfell Liberation. And then, after the much bloodshed, many people died in the battle. But Sansa Stark and Winterfell lost the battle, and Brandon Stark killed Sansa Stark and included Winterfell in his 6 kingdoms. And now Brandon Stark has become the king of the 7 kingdoms, which he always wanted to. But there is only one person who can stop this from happening. Is the child of Samwell Tarly and Gilly, whom Gilly has named Christian. He is the only person, according to the prophecy, which can kill Brandon Stark, because he has also the same abilities like Brandon Stark, the psychic powers he has, which is much more powerful than the Brandon Stark. So right now he is growing up in the 7 kingdoms, and Gilly keep him hidden from the people, so that nobody came to know about that he will be the cause of the death of Brandon Stark. When Jon Snow came to know about this, he was deeply saddened by Sansa Stark's death, and he has taken the vow that he will destroy Brandon Stark and his reign, and again he will re-establish peace in the 7 kingdoms. So he came to know that he, with his current position, cannot defeat Brandon Stark's army, as it was too powerful. So he have to build an army and alliances slowly over the course of years, So he wrote a letter to Arya Stark about all what has happened and told her to build an army and then came back. Then they will both build the army, take both persons' armies, and then they will attack on Brandon Stark. And Jon Snow also wrote a letter to Grey Worm asking for his help, as the army of the Unsullied can be beneficial to them in the battle against Brandon Stark's army. But Daenerys Targaryen is also building her army. And in the meanwhile, when several years have passed, she joined hand with Brandon Stark, made an alliance with Brandon Stark that they will both destroy the Jon Snow and Arya Stark together. And both of their armies have merged now and became even more powerful. Whilst Arya Stark has built alliances over many kingdoms and built her army over the years, a very powerful army whom she is leading. And then now she has came back and joined Jon Snow. So Bran's oppression continues, and all the members of the small council joined Jon Snow as they want to be at the side of good, not at the side of evil. Now Jon Snow and Arya Stark is coming with their armies together to defeat Brandon Stark and his mighty army. And Brandon Stark has kept Daenerys Targaryen and her army for the surprise attack, that when these two, Jon Snow and Arya Stark's army, will collide with his army, Daenerys Targaryen will attack from the rear end and surprise them and try to kill the Jon Snow and Arya Stark together. And that's what happened. A fierce battle has broke between these two. So 10 years have passed now, and this is the deciding battle. Who is going to rule the Seven Kingdoms? So when Jon Snow and Arya Stark came to have a fight with Brandon Stark and his army, Daenerys Targaryen attacked from their rear side to their army, and everybody shocked seeing Daenerys Targaryen alive. So Daenerys Targaryen with Drogon killed the Unsullied army. With each and every person of the Unsullied has been killed, and Jon's army has taken a very bad defeat. But still, Jon Snow and Arya Stark kept on fighting with their armies respectively, and Daenerys Targaryen, Grey Worm is dead, and so Daenerys Targaryen has taken an upper hand, and Brandon Stark has also had an upper hand with his army. Now Jon's army is broken. The battle of Freed has now been broken, and this battle is going to be a tough battle to win for both Arya Stark and Jon Snow. As both are fighting from their ends, Daenerys Targaryen attacks on Jon Snow's army and manages to destroy that army as well. And Jon Snow defeat her. He tries with all his strength, but in the end, Daenerys Targaryen was managed to kill Jon Snow. Jon Snow was dead. That was a very emotional moment. Arya Stark is weeping over his death. And when Daenerys Targaryen is celebrating the victory and the death of Jon Snow, Arya Stark, while weeping, know that this is necessary for Jon Snow to make this sacrifice. And Arya Stark attacked from the side to Daenerys. With the flick of the eye, she was managed to kill Daenerys. But before that, Jon Snow was able to kill Drogon. And by the loss of Drogon, the rage in Daenerys' eyes, that was the one which was able to kill Jon Snow. Now Arya Stark is taking on the army of Brandon Stark's army. But Christian, who was hidden all these years, has managed to go through the tunnels and all those secret places, and he was managed to reach the castle of Brandon Stark, where Bran is residing. And with the battle which he has in his mind, he went in front of Brandon Stark and said that he is the chosen one who is there to kill Brandon Stark and liberate the people of the Seven Kingdoms from his oppression. So Brandon Stark and Christian started a fight inside their heads in a different realm. The psychic fight which is going on, which has gone on for days, where Brandon Stark and Christian is fighting each other in the different realm. And the fighting is really, really methodical and intellectual in nature. So Christian sometimes has an upper hand, and sometimes Brandon Stark has an upper hand. They're fighting like there is no tomorrow. And in the meanwhile, Arya Stark is also fighting with Brandon Stark's army, where Arya Stark is winning and Brandon Stark army is getting defeated. With her military battle skills, Arya Stark has manages to defeat the Brandon Stark's army. And all the people whom we know, Brienne of Tarth is dead, Sir Davos is dead, Bronn of Blackwater is dead, and the hand of the King Tyrion Lannister is also dead in the end. And those were all emotional moments, but all were dead. And after several days of battle between Brandon Stark and Christian manages to get a hold on Brandon Stark, and he manages to kill Brandon Stark in the end, as Brandon Stark is having a slight distraction. So Christian manages to kill Brandon Stark, and now the Seven Kingdoms is free from the oppression of Brandon Stark. And Christian became a hero to be remembered. And Arya Stark is the only survival in this battle of freed. And people of the Seven Kingdoms is rejoicing as the oppression of that evil king is dead. The three-eyed raven is dead. And there is this end of the era of oppression. Now the people are very happy, and Arya Stark had been made the queen of the Seven Kingdoms. She has been crowned and termed as the Queen of the Seven Kingdoms. Christian became her hand, and people have become liberated from the oppression of that evil king. And that's how Game of Thrones should have ended.